Hey FPL managers, it's Josh here from FPL Hawley. I have a top 2k all-time rank, and this is my 17th consecutive season of playing FPL, and my obsession is solving your biggest FPL problems. In this week's video, I'll be diving into my Game Week 5 review, unpack the 3 key lessons from the game week, including some key defensive data. I'll also share my draft if I was wildcarding this week in Game Week 6, as well as talk through my decision-making framework if you should consider triple captaining Haaland this week or not. Let's get into it. Right then, let's dive into how Game Week 5 played out for me. 47 points and a green arrow. My rank shot up by 350k to break into the top 3 million overall. So that's back-to-back green arrows since my wildcard in Game Week 4. So all in all, the wildcard is going as planned. The stars of the show for me this week was my double Bournemouth players. So Senesi, who is an absolute DEFCON monster, bagged me a massive 9 points. I took a bit of a punt this week, captaining Semenyo, and luckily he did return for me, but not in the way that I was expecting. This guy can do everything. Now he's got me DEFCON and a clean sheet point to finish on 5 points. Not the best score, but crucially, he actually matched Mo Salah's score. So going into the game week, I was very nervous not having Salah. This was the game week I'd really identified as being one that could hurt me not having Salah. And he was the most captain player this game week and the biggest overall threat to my rank. So Salah having another quiet game week is massive for those of us who punted on going without Salah on our wildcard. Haaland has now outscored Salah by 8 points over game weeks 4 and 5. And that's huge validation for Haaland owners like myself because the fixture swing now for City just gets better and better. I'll come on to that in a second. Speaking of the big Norwegian, I'll be honest, captaining him away at Arsenal never really crossed my mind, but fair play to him for getting 9 points away at what's arguably the toughest defence in the league right now. Now, onto the negatives, and there were a couple of stinkers, unfortunately. Cucurella continues to troll me and be my biggest blunder for my wildcard. He got 0 points this game week to back up his 1 from last week. That premium defender slot is becoming a real headache, and I kind of wish I'd have just gone with Virgil as the safe and reliable. My punt on double Palace defence didn't come off, unfortunately, but the hero that is Chris Richards got me 2 DEFCON points as well to finish on 4, so I can't really complain. How did you get on in Game Week 5? Drop your scores and ranks in the comments below. Right, let's talk about the 3 key takeaways from this game week because there were some massive lessons here. First up, and I cannot stress this enough, Haaland is now essential. Repeat after me, Haaland is now essential. I said it last week, but it's worth really hammering home. Look at this fixture run for him upcoming. Burnley at home, Brentford away, Everton at home, Villa away, and Bournemouth at home. For me, Haaland is a perma-captain for the next potentially 5 game weeks until game week 11. I know lots of managers have planned to free hit this game week to bring him in temporarily, but here's my take. If it was me, I'd be doing everything possible to get Haaland into my team permanently. Play your wildcard, take some hits if you need to, just get him into your team. He's gone up now to 14.3 million, and that price is only going one way. Don't get left behind, get Haaland in now. The second lesson, the promoted sides are absolutely doing the business again. Leeds smashing Wolves 3-1 away from home was really great to see, and both Burnley and Sunderland picking up battling points at home too. What I love about the promoted teams as well is that they can show that they can be defensively very solid and that they can score goals as well. Long may that continue because I think it's great for the league. The teams I'm now actively targeting are West Ham and Wolves, and I do fear for both of them with relegation looming potentially. Now third, remember that clean sheet phenomenon I mentioned last week? Well, that was clearly just a post-international break blip. We're back to normal service with just 2 clean sheets this game week, and they were both Newcastle and Bournemouth, who played each other in a 0-0 draw. But here's the interesting bit. Both Bournemouth and Newcastle now have expected clean sheets of 3 from their opening 5 fixtures. Now, I'm delighted to have Senesi as my Bournemouth defensive cover, but I am kicking myself for not having any Newcastle defenders in my wildcard, especially with Newcastle playing at home in 3 of their next 4 games. Let me know in the comments, are you targeting any of the promoted sides fixtures? And more importantly, Do you have Haaland in your team yet? Let me know in the comments. A very quick but crucial point here about midweek fixtures. Just like last week, try and hold off making any early transfers because 11 Premier League teams are playing in the EFL Cup on Tuesday and Wednesday night. Expect heavily rotated squads across the board. And keep your eyes peeled for the EFL Cup draw on Wednesday evening. Now, this is a long shot, but if Palace progress to the quarters of the EFL Cup, there's a small chance they might have a blank and double game week situation before game week 19. And now, as someone who's already played most of my chips, I'm genuinely hoping for a very tough Palace draw in the next round of the EFL Cup. And on Thursday, it brings more European action with Palace, Forest and Villa all playing in the Europa League and the Europa Conference League. So here's the key advice. If you can manage it, hold your transfers and try to make them Friday at the earliest, after the press conferences. Don't get caught out by injuries or rotation roulette. Now let's talk chip strategy, because this week was earmarked by a lot of managers early on as a strong free hit candidate, with Liverpool away at Palace and City at home to Burnley. But here's my take. If your goal is getting Haaland in, I'd focus on wildcarding this week instead of free hitting. Let me show you what my wildcard team could look like if I was playing the chip this week. So I actually really like the look of this team. This team roughly gives me about 2 million left in the bank. Now that's going to be dependent based on your squad value, but that 2 million or so in the bank gives you crucial flexibility for the upcoming game weeks. Your Arsenal attacking cover here could be Saka over Gyökeres. I'm still on the fence about Gyökeres. I know he has penalties, but he really hasn't looked too sharp, and I thought that Saka looked bright enough coming on against City on the weekend. You could also upgrade to another premium defender like Van Dijk, for example, or even, dare I say it, Kukurea. The beauty of this draft is that if you're planning to bench boost later, you'd want a stronger bench, but for general play, this structure is very solid. I actually won't be a million miles off this team come game week 7 when I make my plan moves. But yeah, the key points about this wildcard approach is you keep Liverpool coverage. I'm seeing a lot of wildcard drafts with absolutely no Liverpool, which I think is a mistake. Liverpool are the best team in the league, so you want to have at least one of those players. And I think Gakpo is the cheapest and the most reliable entry point into that Liverpool attack, outside of obviously Salah. This draft is also bench boost ready, so if you still have your bench boost chip, you can quite easily use that. And the structure allows for easy pivots based on form. The free hit versus wildcard debate for this game really comes down to your overall chip strategy. If you've still got your wildcard and need Haaland permanently, wildcard wins every time for me. I'm curious, what chip are you planning on playing this game week? Let me know your reasoning in the comments, because I love seeing the different strategic approaches. Right, here we are, the big decision. I'm getting itchy fingers because I've gone a whole game week without playing a single chip. Now I'm joking, but I genuinely love the triple captain on Haaland this week. And let me walk you through exactly why. So first, the form factor. Haaland is in absolutely amazing form this season for his club and country. He's already scored 13 goals in just 8 games. The man is literally on fire. Now, when I'm putting a triple captain on someone, I want them to be in red hot form, and you can't get much hotter than this. Second for me is the differential angle. A number of managers will be playing other chips this game week, whether that be wildcards or free hits. That blocks their ability to play the triple captain chip. Now, I'm not saying it will be a huge differential, but if Haaland bangs and I've triple captained over either 10 to 15 of the field, that advantage gets multiplied massively. Now let's talk stats, and this is where it gets really interesting for me. I've been hearing lots about how Haaland doesn't do well against low block teams like Burnley could potentially set up. But here's the thing, Burnley are the worst defence away from home this season. It's a small sample size, but they've conceded 5.9 expected goals conceded from just 2 away games. And they've actually conceded 6 goals on their 2 away games, 3 at both Spurs and a poor Man United team. Meanwhile, Haaland has a non-penalty expected goals of 2.27 from his 2 home games, with 4 big chances. So he scored 2 goals at home already, albeit they came both against that match against United. His other game at home, he did blank in that loss to Spurs, but to be fair, on that day, Spurs did look superb defensively, and that was right before Haaland went on this amazing run. So my main reservation, as mentioned earlier, is that there is that very slight possibility of a small double game week before game week 19. Now, nobody knows what team it could involve or if it'll even happen. But considering I have no free hit chip to cover the blanks, it would really sting if I couldn't also play my triple captain on a potentially good double game week captain. But honestly, for me right now, the pros are massively outweighing the cons. The form, the fixtures, and the potential differential, it all points to me pulling the triple captain trigger this week. With all that in mind, would you triple captain Haaland this week? And if not, what's holding you back? I really want to hear your reasoning in the comments below. Now let me walk you through my strategy for the next block of fixtures, because this is where planning really pays off. Looking at my captain's matrix on the right hand side, I'm confident about punting against Salah and Liverpool for the next 4 game weeks. So here's my planned captaincy rotation. And to be honest, I could just captain Haaland in all of the next 4. I think he has a really good run of fixtures. Even the away games at Brentford and Villa are both quite favourable. But in an ideal world, my planned captaincy rotation would be Haaland in game weeks 6 and 8 at home to Burnley and Everton, an Arsenal attacker in 7 at home to West Ham, and a Chelsea attacker at home to Sunderland in game week 9. So the fixtures support this strategy perfectly. And transfer wise, I had a quick look at my options for this game week. For my planned striker move, it basically comes down to who I think will do better in game week 6. Mateta at home to Liverpool or Gyökeres away to Newcastle. My gut tells me to hold on to Mateta for 1 more game week, which means I'll have 4 free transfers saved up by game week 7 to make some big structural moves if I need them. This approach sets me up perfectly for the next fixture block while maintaining that flexibility. And sometimes in FPL, patience with transfers is more valuable than reactive moves. And what's your strategy looking like? Are you planning ahead in blocks or taking it week by week? Let me know your approach. So here we are, my final setup for game week 6. Overall, I'm fairly happy with where I sit, and barring any disasters during the midweek fixtures, it's nice knowing I could roll into game week 7 with 4 free transfers built up. The main thing stopping me from making moves right now is that I want to bring in 2 Arsenal players, but they're away at Newcastle this week. Historically, Arsenal don't do well at Newcastle, and Newcastle's defence is looking superb at the moment. I'd rather give it another week and see how that one plays out. I also want to give Saka another week to assess his minutes and form before deciding between him or Gyökeres from game week 7 onwards. Now let me run you through my problem children, because every FPL team has them. First off, I mentioned him earlier, Cucurella. He's my biggest headache right now, but I'm not going to be touching him before Brighton at home. That fixture is just too good to miss. Munoz could make way this game week for a Romero, Van der Ven, or even a Gvardiol. But if I do that, I'm committing to selling Cucurella to Gabriel in game week 7, which limits my flexibility. Lucas Paqueta at West Ham. This is the big decision. I either need to move him on right now to someone like Reinders, or hold him until his fixtures swing nicely in game week 8. Now by then, if I've still got him, West Ham might also have some new manager bounce as well. So a fixture swing and a new manager could actually go really well in my favour, and Paqueta could be a really nice differential come game week 8 and onwards. Grealish, he's cooled obviously since I bought him in on my wildcard, and Njai has just looked really good. Now ideally Grealish becomes Njai, but that's more of a luxury than a necessity. They have West Ham at home, which is a really good fixture. I think I'm just going to hold Grealish. Now, the beauty of having these multiple free transfers is choice. I can be patient and see how things develop rather than making those reactive moves. I've got one final question for you. Who are your biggest problem players right now, and how are you planning to solve them? Drop your transfer dilemmas in the comments below. So that's my entire thought process and strategy for the coming weeks. A lot to consider, but at the time of recording, I think I will be triple captaining Haaland and most likely rolling my free transfer this game week to make some big moves in game week 7. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more FPL analysis from FPL Hawley. Due to some personal commitments, I won't be able to commit to any Saturday morning deadline streams. However, I'll do my best to do a deadline stream for other game weeks. If you have any burning questions or problems, just comment them in my videos and I'll answer them ahead of the game week deadline. That's all from me. Best of luck in game week 6.